So where are you going for your holidays?
Well, my parents are sending me on a survival camp.
Sounds interesting.
But it isn't. Look, they've just sent me the programme.
At 6 o'clock, you'll be having breakfast in the forest. So you'll probably have woken up even earlier.
Exactly.
And then it says camp jobs. What will you be doing?
I think we'll be building wooden shelters. They say here that by the end of the camp we will have built a forest village.
Sounds nice. What's forest cooking? Will you be cooking for 3 hours? I guess that's good for you. You'll get plenty of practice.
No, it's not what you think. We'll only be cooking what we can find in the forest. Mushrooms, berries, herbs, worms. That's why forest cooking takes 3 hours.
Worms? That's unusual.
And then we'll be cooking lunch on a fire. There's no electricity.
I guess by the end of the camp you'll have learnt how to make a fire.
I already know how to make a fire. I just don't want to go.
But why not? It sounds like fun.
Really? So why don't you go with me if you think it sounds so interesting?
I'd love to, but it says boys only.
Hello again. In today's lesson, we will talk about 2 future tenses, future continuous and future perfect. You use the future continuous when you want to say that an action will be in progress at a certain time in the future. The future continuous tense form is will or won't plus be and a verb ending in ing. You use inversion to make questions. In the example from the video, they're talking about the schedule at the camp.
At 6 o'clock, you'll be having breakfast in the forest.
So you can use the future continuous to talk about the activities that will be taking place at a certain time in the future. You can also use this tense for one-time activities. This time tomorrow, I'll be flying to Madrid. You do not always need to give the time of an action in the future. It can be a longer time period. In a few years, I'll be living on my own. What is important is that the action expressed in the future continuous is not completed. It's seen as continuing for a certain time. Compare the sentences. She'll be having breakfast at 6 o'clock. She'll come home at 6 o'clock. In the first example, she hasn't finished having breakfast. It will continue for a while. 6 o'clock describes only a part of this activity. In the second sentence, coming home is a completed action. That's why you use the future simple. The second tense we'll be talking about today is the future perfect. You use it to talk about activities that will have finished before a certain time in the future. You'll have woken up by 5 o'clock. The future perfect form is will plus have and the third verb form, the past participle. You use inversion in questions. This tense means that by a certain point in the future, an action will be completed. This tense is often used with the word by. By the end of the camp, we'll have built a forest village. Compare the 2 sentences. I'll be having breakfast at 8 o'clock. I'll have had breakfast by 8 o'clock. In the first sentence, I'm saying that the activity of eating breakfast will be in progress at 8 o'clock. I will most certainly be sitting at the table and eating at 8 o'clock. We don't know when I'll finish, but what is important is that the activity is in progress. In the second sentence, the activity of eating breakfast will end before 8 o'clock. Perhaps I'll have my breakfast at 6 or just before 8. Anyhow, by 8, the breakfast will have been eaten. That's all in today's lesson. Thank you.